All right, 16, 17, and 18, changing frames of mind, sort of. If I have x squared equals 63, in order to solve an equation like that, I do the opposite of squaring. The opposite of squaring is taking the square root of something, right? So I would take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared is just an x. And then I have the square root of 63. Now hopefully we've done enough with the square root of 63 that we know if we can simplify that, we better simplify it. So we try to factor it out so we have a perfect square. What times what is 63?
7 times 9.
So I'm going to write it as 9 times 7 because you know that I always like the perfect square first. And the square root of 9 is?
3.
3. So I get 3 square root of 7. However, what they want you to know is you're not only going to get one answer, you're going to get a second answer. Because when I square a negative, it becomes positive. Not only is my answer going to be 3 square root of 7, I'm also going to have an answer of negative 3 square root of 7. Because a negative times a negative is going to change that to a positive. So that's why it says if there's more than one answer, separate them with commas. So number 17, if I have x squared equals 15, what should I do to solve that?
So you're going to do square root of x squared equals square root of 15.
So the square root of x squared is just x. And then we have the square root of 15, right?
So you're going to put 3 times 5?
Now, if I did 3 times 5, are either 3 or 5 perfect squares? Nope, right? We can't do the square root of 3 and we can't do the square root of 5. They're not perfect squares. So in this case, I can't do anything else to simplify that. There's no perfect squares other than one that are factors of 15. So I'm going to put down my answers. My answers are going to be what?
1 times 15? Or just, what are you going to do?
Just the square root of 15.
Well, that's it.
And there's another answer. What's my other answer?
3 times.
Negative square root of 15, right? Because if I take a negative times a negative, it's going to give me the positive answer. So I'm going to have 2 answers because if you think about it, 2 squared is 4, but so is a negative 2 squared. So you can't always simplify your radical expressions, although you might want to. On the next one, we have x squared equals negative 75. What am I going to do to solve that?
There's nothing that can go to 75.
Well, there is, but
I mean,
we would have x equals the square root of a negative 75. And what do you know about negatives when you try to do the square root? No solution. We did do imaginary numbers the other day, but we're not going to do imaginary numbers on these. We're just going to say, oh, I can't take the square root of a negative. I'm going to get no solution.